Good morning. Hello from beautiful Grass Valley, California. I'm Allie Benjamin, and I am your host of Growing Edge Live. This is a spiritual tune-up and tune-in, and we offer this every Sunday at 10 a.m. Mountain Time, where our beloved Ogden Satya Center community resides. And here we are in Grass Valley, California, and it's 9 a.m. So welcome to Growing Edge Live. It's so good to be here to have some spiritual food and nourishment together. It's like the breakfast club, the Sunday breakfast club. So welcome. Hello, Carol. I'd love to, as you jump on, I'd love it if you'd share a thought or two, or maybe where you are watching this from. And if you're watching the replay, go ahead and put that in the notes too. Hello, Michael. Hello, Carol and Michael. So good to be here this morning for our Growing Edge Live Sunday broadcast. We've been meeting. It says network low. Hey, Samantha, there's my sister. Can't wait to see you this afternoon. And Natalia and William, wonderful. Great to know that you're all here for our Sunday morning breakfast club, Growing Edge Live, our spiritual tune-in and tune-up. And we're super excited to be sharing a message this morning about wonder. The title of my talk is Wonderland. And we'll explore what that means and what that looks like. Yeah, grateful for you too, Sam. All right, so I'm going to start this off just reading our Satya vision and mission. We are all about healing hearts, transforming lives, and inspiring conscious evolution. And that's why we call these messages every Sunday Growing Edge Live, because we believe that we're on the very growing edge of our own evolution, humanity's evolution, the universe's evolution, God's evolution. And so it's all about what we do and how we feel and how we participate in the evolution of the human species, that we actually have greater capacities than maybe we're aware of. And by leaning on ancient wisdom teachings, the wisdom that the mystics and sages found thousands, hundreds and thousands of years ago, they found truths that are relevant for us today. So we lean a lot on the ancient wisdom of the past, and science today, what we're learning about how connected we really are as a species, and that we're all one with this planet. And I'm about to share a reading in a minute that will give light to that truth of oneness. Hey, Ben. Hey, Holly. Good to see you. Well, I can't see you, but I can see your photo there. So we are a creative ministry that serves inquisitive individuals and communities. We support their spiritual awakening so that they, people, communities, can become beacons of light. And so that's what we're about. We're about helping people wake up, realize the light of their own magnificence, and shine that in the world. We provide valuable resources. We do these Sunday Growing Edge Live broadcasts. We have communities that meet. We've got a thriving community there in Ogden. And we also do online education, although we are postponing that for now until Michael and I find better reception. We are living in our camper van and we don't always have good range, so I'm unable to offer classes even virtually at the moment. And we also offer spiritual support. We've got prayer practitioners, conscious living practitioners that are waiting to support you in whatever you're experiencing in your life, whether it be a challenge or whether it be some amazing new thing that you're endeavoring. Maybe you've got a new project or a move or something like that. Whatever you're coming into alignment with in your life, we have conscious living prayer partners, spiritual partners, counselors, coaches that are here and waiting and ready to support you. So don't hesitate. We're here for you. So I'm going to share this beautiful song by Leslie, and here we go.
Free my mind, open my heart with the whispers of truth, to live a conscious life, to live a conscious life on the growing edge, on the growing edge.
So good morning again. Allie Benjamin here from Grass Valley, California with Growing Edge Live Sunday broadcast. I'm so happy you're here today or you're watching this replay. I trust and know that whatever comes through today will support you in finding greater joy and meaning and purpose and passion and experiencing a life that you truly do love. This month I'm reading a book, and it's by Valerie Kaur. Her book is titled See No Stranger. And so in place of a grounding meditation, I'd like to read a little excerpt for you. And I invite you to close your eyes and really listen to this with the ears of your heart. So take a moment to close the outer eyes and take a breath and relax and settle and be fully present. Activate that reverential alertness as though the universe is about to answer your most deeper questions, the questions that you have. Why am I here? What's this all about? What can I do? What's mine to do? And just sit in that place of contemplation as I read these words. Wonder is our birthright. It comes easily in childhood. The feeling of watching dust motes dancing in the sunlight, or climbing a tree to touch the sky, or falling asleep thinking about where the universe ends. If we are safe and nurtured enough to develop our capacity to wonder, we start to wonder about the people in our lives, their thoughts, their experiences, their pain and joy, their wants and needs. We begin to sense that they are to themselves as vast and complex as we are to ourselves, their inner world as infinite as our inner world. In other words, we are seeing them as our equal. We are gaining information about how to love them. Wonder is a wellspring for love. The call to love beyond our own flesh and blood is ancient. It echoes down to us on the lips of indigenous leaders, spiritual teachers, and social reformers through centuries. The founder of Sikhism, Guru Nanak, called us to see no stranger. Buddha, to practice unending compassion. Abraham, to open our tents to all. Jesus, to love our neighbors. Muhammad, to take in the orphan. Mirabai, to love without limit. They all expanded the circle of who counts as one of us, and therefore who is worthy of our care and concern. These teachings were rooted in the linguistic, cultural, and spiritual context of their time, but they spoke of a common vision of our interconnectedness and interdependence. What has been an ancient spiritual truth is now increasingly verified by science. We are all indivisibly part of one another. We share a common ancestry with everyone and everything alive on Earth. The air we breathe contains atoms that have passed through the lungs of ancestors long dead. Our bodies are composed of the same elements created deep inside the furnaces of long-dead stars. We can look upon the face of anyone or anything around us and say, as a moral declaration and a spiritual, cosmological, and biological fact, you are a part of me that I do not yet know. But you don't have to be religious in order to open to wonder. You only have to reclaim a slither of what you once knew as a child. If you remember how to wonder, then you already have what you need to learn how to love. So just feel those words simmering, building in your heart, touching upon something you already know that is deep within the very DNA, the fibers, the structure, the intelligence of who you are. You already know this, that we are one. There's only one thing happening, one world, one life, one giant playground. And we're all here at this particular time, at this particular moment, to recognize our oneness and to take steps forward that unify, that bring us back together. And so let's just honor that, just allow those words to ruminate, to move throughout us, knowing that just the hearing of these words will open you up today to see with new eyes and maybe be a little bit more curious, full of wonder as you go out and about and meet other people. So welcome. Welcome to Wonderland. I grew up always thinking that when I was little, before I could read, and people would say Alice in Wonderland and read stories to me about that. I always thought it was Allison's Wonderland, and instead of Alice. So I've always had this notion of living in Wonderland. And I wonder today, as we dive more deeply into this message of interconnectedness, of seeing no strangers, as this author, Valerie Kaur, is so impassioned about, of really, she's a Sikh, that's her faith, Sikhism, and she was born in this country. Her father was born in this country, but emigrated here long ago from some of the unrest and the warring in India. And so her book is about what do we do now, here where we are on the very growing edge of our evolution, in this wonderful melting pot that we call America, with such division happening. And it hasn't been, well, I say this with respect for our ancestors, but we're experiencing this to a degree that I've never experienced, this sense of separation, of othering, of me and you, us and them, that is not going to be a very helpful mindset or heart set moving forward, as in a few short years, our population here in this country, Caucasians, are going to be the minority. So how can we better embrace our brothers and sisters of every color, race, creed, religion, gender, sexual orientation? Because we are truly a melting pot, and the whole world is looking to us to be the leaders here. So can we move forward with wonder? Can we be more curious about each other? Instead of staying in our lane, staying in what's comfortable, only having the conversations that are comfortable within our circle of friends. Can we take a step out? I was recently in a book group, and we read a book called White Fragility, and and it was led by a couple of my friends who are Black. And it was very apparent that the white people in the group had really not a lot to say on how to talk about white fragility, how to understand inequality or othering, or I used to think that I had this mindset that I don't see color. I don't see borders and boundaries. I'm in love with all humanity. But it's in that belief that I found, due to this reading of this book, White Fragility, and another book by the name of Caste, that I realized that I wasn't really honoring other people people of different races, religions, creeds, cultures, by just saying, oh, I don't see all of that. That's a very arrogant way of being in the world, of acknowledging oneness. So I had to really look at it. And some of my Black friends have said it's fine for you to say you're an ally. And I am. But what are we going to do? And that's where it's challenging. I'm forcing myself today to step out of my comfort zone to bring this up, to have a more curious mindset around how can I be a bridge? How can I get more educated? How can I be a part of what's to come in the future as race and all of our differences are honored and truly honored and embraced. So we honor our differences, embrace our differences, and honor our oneness. We have to be able to understand where we all come from, the wounds of the past, that which we might be grieving, even though it's ancestral. Maybe we've got wounds from our great-great-great-great-grandparents that we've not even looked at. Maybe they struggled and suffered, and so I'm inviting you to wonder even more about how to have conversations, bigger conversations, braver conversations. Guru Nanak, who is Valerie Kaur's guru and the founder of Sikhism, said this: "Wondrous are the forms, wondrous are the colors, wondrous are the beings who wander unclothed. Wondrous is the wind, wondrous is the water, wondrous is the fire which works wonders. Behold these wonders, I am wonderstruck. Those that understand this are blessed." Those that understand that we can wake up in the world, wake up every morning and be wonderstruck, just be blown away by the fact that we're alive, by the fact that there's more than just our little tribe, our little circle of friends and family, that there's a bigger world, and everyone's not happy and living in excess and can go to the grocery stores and get clean water and get vaccines and feel comfortable. That we really need to embrace the needs of every sentient being. And when I say sentient being, I extend that to not just humans, but to all living, breathing animals, mammals, creatures, to even the non-living, breathing mammals and creatures and humans, but the trees and the plants and our earth and our waters, our living waters. How can we be more curious about how to bring our world into balance? And it takes people being curious. Look how science has over the last hundreds of years, the last 400 years, let's say, how science has, through its wonder, through its curiosity, has helped us to be more conscious, wise stewards of the earth, to be more aware of what we do, how we impact the earth, the food we eat. We have to be more consciously aware of the impact we have, not only through our actions, but through our thoughts and our feelings and our love and our care for one another. We have to let go of the stories that we've been so indoctrinated with, the stories that are written in the history books that are biased. The English history books that I grew up with and the American history books, they give a very biased view of the history of the country. There were people that walked on this land long before the settlers of the Americas started to populate this land. Indigenous peoples that had stories and had history and had respect for the land, that the white people came in and just demolished that, did away with that. Our history books don't talk about that. We just established a white history here and what that looks like and what that means. So can we dive more deeply into our stories and honor other stories and the suffering that has taken place due to our ignorance and our arrogance? Can we enter into a new conversation? I can't even imagine what those conversations might be for you. For me, I'm more intrigued than ever before about other people's traditions, about what's important to them, what's meaningful, what they suffer, and what they celebrate. Because we have the ability to create stories that connect rather than divide. We are the ones that are being called to see our similarities instead of seeing how different we are because of the food we eat and our skin color and our religion. All of that's important, but none of that, if it stays in the status quo of dividing and creating biases, none of that's going to be helpful moving forward on the very growing edge of our evolution. So we're being called to live in a wonderland, in a sense of wonder, knowing that love is the way, the truth, and the light, that all beings want to know that they're loved and they're seen and they're important, and what they say and what they do is valuable. And even if it isn't what the same as we would say or do, we can see what people say and do and how they feel is important. Because when we're so stuck in our stories, when we're not listening to others, when we're not curious, when we're not wondering, then people might feel that they're not important, and that might stir up shame. Shame is something that's so harmful. Human beings have created shame and then projected on others. Shame tells us that we don't belong in our own bodies. We don't belong in our lives. Shame makes us feel uncomfortable. It makes us feel like we're not human enough. So if you felt shame in your life, and I know I have, it's just part of our conditioning. It's part of the way that we've been raised. We feel ashamed about certain things we think or what we do. Imagine being a race that has been shamed by another, and what that might do generation after generation, and how that might impact the way that you see the world, the fear lens that you might see the world through, that might cause you to be defensive or argumentative. So we need to create a more loving place, to have conversations that connect, that move beyond guilt and pain and shame and the past. We can explore, and what's so important, I think, in having deeper conversations is exploring our grief, our anger, and our rage. All these things aren't very positive or spiritual or what we necessarily want to focus on, but what we bury, the things that we deny, feelings that are buried alive within us, are only going to come out, and usually in the most inappropriate times, at the most inappropriate moments. And then we get triggered and reactive. So if we could be brave enough to listen to each other, to be there for each other, to grieve together, to hold each other in that container of love, and allow people to process and to hear each other, and then to together, through this mutual coming together, concern and consideration and wonder and curiosity, we can start to write new stories. So I've created a little acronym for wonder: willing, open, new direction, eager, realization. Are we willing to step out of our comfort zone? Are we willing to have brave conversations with people that maybe we wouldn't have considered having a conversation with in the past? Are we willing to open up our hearts and be curious and see the wonder in each other, to see the wonder in each other, wonder about each other, what's important to each other, what pains and struggles and grief and trauma have we been through, and how we might be able to support and serve and care for each other. Can we be open enough to share that we're not perfect, that we too have struggled with our biases, with our borders and boundaries and the thoughts that we have about others? Are we willing to see with open new eyes? Are we willing to create new stories, open up new pathways for healing, for connection, for growth, for transcendence, for transformation, for transmutation, allowing everything in the past simply to be fuel for a beautiful, wonderful world where our wings are unfurled and together we fly, we soar as one big human family full of wonder, full of delight, and full of grace. Can we be eager? Can we be actively engaged, eager for life to open up for us? And the last letter, R, can we have a realization of who we are in truth, who we are as spiritual beings, as these amazing spiritual beings having this very human spiritual experience here on earth. We're not here just to have this human experience of acquiring things, of creating a life that we love that's focused on ourselves and our little family, but can we have a deeper realization of who we are in truth as part of the healing family, the healing arms that it's going to take to bring us together, to unfurl our wings and soar? Can we have a realization of how we can serve humanity in a deeper way by being the light, being the light? A couple of days ago, well, it was probably a couple of weeks ago, I said to Michael, I was nervous about going somewhere, and we've been in isolation, we've been traveling a lot, and we were going to be with a group of people, and I said, I'm really nervous. I don't know that I really want to go. I'm feeling apprehension. And he reminded me that the only thing I need to remember is I bring light. And so once I got over my ego that said I'm nervous, I'm anxious, I don't know if I want to be around a lot of people. What if it takes too long and I just want to be back in our home? And he reminded me that it's not all about me and my feelings. It's about what I bring in the world and what I bring to that group of people. That's my focus. And it was a reorienting of who I am and why I'm here. I'm here to serve. You're here to serve. We're here to bring our light to the world. So thank you. And before our activation prayer, I want to invite you to support this Growing Edge ministry. You can Venmo Satya Center, SatyaCenter, Venmo, or go to our website, Satya Live, SatyaLive.org, and you can donate there too. So thank you so much. It's been such a delight to hear these words that are coming through me. Sometimes I don't know what's going to come out, and I trust that it was something that served you or reminded you of what your heart already knows. So let's take a moment to go within and take a breath, and to know that right here and right now, right where we are, there is only love, omniscience, omnipotence, omnipresence, that we are part of this grand, overall, overarching, divine, grand, creative experience, this God life, this God essence, this creative energy that is within us is seeking to be let loose and come into this world in ways of delight and wonder and magic and curiosity. So just feel your aliveness coming through you. Feel the fact that you're creative. You're creative in your thinking. You're creative in your words. You're creative in the way you go about creating a life, the people you talk to, the things that you help with, the way you volunteer, the way you serve life through your vocation, through your career, through your whatever it is you do in the world, just showing up in a room and bringing your unique personality, your unique laugh, your caring hug, or your kind concern. You are the way that God shows up. I am the way that Spirit shows up. We together collectively are the universe that's loving itself into a greater, more expressive, more loving, more concerned, more caring, more empathetic, more wondrous, more curious way of being as we grow out of our restricted, tight container, our ego structure, and we break loose, we crack that shell, and it's in that cracking that the light is revealed. And let us embrace this light, see the light, feel the light emanating from our very core, see it coming and emanating and radiating and touching, and in this way our hearts are healed, our relationships are healed, bridges are built, rainbow sparks of light are coming through our bodies, healing our physical structure, anything that's been held back within our physical body that is due to the heaviness of our belief systems, the untruths that live within us, especially the self-sabotage, self-condemning, those thoughts that we have of fear and guilt and shame about ourselves. Let these rainbow sparks of light just clear away all of that, knowing that we are each a child of God, loved, so loved in wondrous ways, so loved, so precious, and feel that love now. Feel your preciousness, your uniqueness, that you belong, that all of us belong right where we are, right in the family that we are, right in the town that we are, right in the job, in the career, in the circumstances and situations, that we are blessed by it all. Feel the showers of blessing, the showers of grace that are upon us when we open our eyes to see, when we open our ears to hear, and when we open our heart to receive. Just receive that now. Breathe it in, let it settle, let it keep on radiating throughout you, throughout this day, and know that you are blessed. Blessings abound. Mwah. Love you. Peace and blessings to each and every one of you. Watch our replay of this on YouTube at Satya Center, and make sure you contact us if you want prayer support or meditation. And we love you very much. Peace and blessings. Namaste.